Hey, welcome to Geeky Faucets. I'm Amy Dale.
And I'm Christine Lucas-Savage.
And this is episode 23. And today we're going to talk about Monty Python.
I like Monty Python.
I think every good geek should be able to quote some Monty Python.
Oh, totally. Did you know? So my college university I went to is Northern Arizona University. And their mascot is a lumberjack. So guess what song my entire family sang to me when I told them, yeah, I'm going to NAU and it's a lumberjack. And they were like, I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. And I'm like, well, there you go. But I didn't mind. I thought it was funny.
It is pretty funny.
That should be the school's
song.
Yeah.
Totally.
I don't even know what the school song. Like we drove through there. Part of our vacation we just went on. We went to Arizona. And drove through the campus just so I could see it again. And I'm like, do we even have a fight song? Like, I don't know. I went to one football game, and that's only because I was dating the wide receiver. Or no, he was a tight end, which I thought was very funny because... Anyway.
Okay, so before we get into Monty Python-ness, we'll chat about a few other things first. One is I am getting ridiculously excited about the second installment in The Hobbit. The Desolation of Smaug, which, by the way, always growing up, I pronounced it smog.
Is it smag? It's S-M-A-U-G, is there something like that, right?
Yeah, but smag. On the previews and stuff, they always pronounce it Smaug. Smaug.
Oh, that sounds stupid.
Anyway, it's very fantasy sounding. It is what it is. But I always thought it was smog.
I care about this much about that movie.
Yeah, I care a lot about that movie, and I am ridiculously excited because they've shown another longer preview, and then they did they've done this whole thing about Evangeline Lilly, and I read an article about how she's playing this other elf who's not actually in the book, but there's not any girls in the book, so they kind of had to create a character.
Did you know in Oregon, I think it's Oregon, they have Hobbit Town, US, I think it's Hobbit Town, I don't know if it's USA or just Hobbit Town, but they have this whole Hobbit walk. It's very cool. I did it when I was a kid.
Where in Oregon? Because I'm going to Oregon. I should look
I'm not sure. Yeah, look up Hobbit Town, but I don't even know if it's still there because that was, 20 years ago, if not more so.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. And you walk through and you press the little button. You press the little button and you see Gollum and has the ring. And he doesn't move. It's just a statue, but it's this whole little walk through the forest. And they have a big old Smaug. I don't know.
A dragon of sorts.
A dragon that's big. So, dude, I don't even need to see the movie. I know what happens.
Okay, and by the way, also, there is a graphic novel for The Hobbit. I don't know if you've seen that, but it is beautiful and amazing. And my son, who's dyslexic, I decided to read The Hobbit to him. And he had some difficulty understanding it when we first started reading it because. And so I decided to switch to the graphic novel because he's very visual. And so we started reading that, and I would just read it, and he could look at the pictures, and it was awesome, and he loved it. And the illustrations are amazing. It's so good, and it's such a good story, and it's such a good story for that format too. So anyway, if you haven't seen that, you should look into that because it's really super cool. Red.
I can't wait for this one!
Have you guys seen Red?
I saw it and I loved it.
Okay, Red is really funny. It's like these ex-CIA agents and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And Bruce Willis and John Malkovich and Helen Mirren. And
guess who's going to be in this one?
And so Red 2 is coming out July 19th.
Do you know who's going to be in this one? Storm Shadow. Lee Byung-hun, he's going to be in there. And I'm very, very excited.
Of course you are.
Of course.
I saw that preview and I was writing down all the actors' names, and then I saw him and I was like, I don't know who that is.
That's Storm Shadow.
Okay.
Here, do you know how he got into this movie? Because you know how Bruce, who is in, was Bruce Willis in G.I. Joe?
Yes.
Okay, Bruce Willis, yes. Bruce Willis was so impressed by Lee Byung-hun, he asked him if he wanted to be in Red 2. Isn't that cool?
I am excited about Bruce Willis.
I love Bruce Willis.
Because I have loved Bruce Willis since, Moonlighting. We've talked about this before.
And Catherine Zeta-Jones, I really like her.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. Yeah. She's so versatile. She can play a dirty old lady, or she'd be the most, sophisticated, perfect woman.
And Helen Mirren is awesome. Uh-huh. And John Malkovich is super creepy. And
Did you know, I have a thing with actors' voices, like, Benedict Cumberbatch. If he would do an audiobook, I'd buy it in freaking a second. So, I saw, the first ever time I ever saw John Malkovich was being John Malkovich.
Oh, my word.
And I love the way he talks. Like, his voice is very different. It's not, a normal voice, so I went
He has
and
an
bought...
interesting cadence to
He
his
does.
voice.
He very much does.
It's different than normal. And he's, that movie is
It's
like
weird,
a
man.
mind trip.
It is. And so I went and I bought the one and only book I could find that he did, and I listened to that book so much. It was called The Accidental Tourist. Couldn't tell you what the book was about, but I listened to it.
That was made into a movie, I think.
I don't know.
I saw the movie.
I don't know.
And also couldn't tell you what it's about.
Must have been really good.
Obviously, it was amazing.
Yeah, no, I can't wait for that one, because I like the first one a lot.
Yeah, the preview looks hilarious. If you haven't seen it, you
It
should
almost
look
reminds me of The Expendables a little bit.
Yes.
Only slightly funnier and a
that
little
kind of
cooler.
like making fun of itself almost.
Which
kind
I
of
like
thing.
it when people can make fun of themselves.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's much more fun than when they're like, oh, well, I'm too awesome for this. And it's like, really?
Yes.
Get over it.
Exactly.
People will like you better.
And Jurassic Park 4 was
God.
like on slate to be coming out again. And then like it was, put on the back burner again and da-da-da. Anyway, so now they've said that they're aiming for a 2015 release.
Do people care about Jurassic Park anymore?
I care about Jurassic Park.
I lost it after the first one. I'm like, the first one was
love
great. And then I'm like, I don't care.
Dinosaurs a lot. And I think dinosaurs are awesome. And I've had like this dinosaur fascination for a really long time. And so I read the first Jurassic Park, and I love Jurassic Parks. And even though the other ones were not as cool, they still had dinosaurs in them. Oh,
Whatever, dude. I smile and nod.
Giant dinosaurs. It's awesome. Anyway, so I am super excited about it. So apparently...
And we are on opposite ends of the spectrum on this one. I'm like, and your time is
as
up.
we are on a lot of things, but that's okay. Isla Nublar is the island that the first Jurassic Park takes place on, and that's what this one.
Isla, not Isla.
Oh, sorry, Isla. Isla? Really?
Are you sure?
Okay.
Because Island, I-S-L-A-N-D, Isla, I-S-L-A, Isla Fisher.
Isla. My bad. I'm from Oklahoma. I'm gonna say.
You can't use that as your excuse for
Yes,
every
I can.
time.
Have you ever heard
No,
me say
no, no.
antenna?
Do what?
See, antenna? John,
I've never heard you say that.
I know, it's because I worked really hard on it, because every time I said it, people laughed at me. And I was like, how? And so I had John say it like 5 times, and I was like, say it again.
Okay,
What am I saying
say
different?
it right.
Antenna.
Very good.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's sometimes it still comes out. I met somebody the other day, and they were like, oh, where are you from? It's like,
Our new neighbors are from Oklahoma. You guys would get along great. Yeah,
Oh, I
they
need to
keep
meet
talking
them.
about it. I'm like, oh, but they don't have like deep accents or anything. Doesn't matter.
I don't know
Anyway,
either.
whatever.
Okay, so it's the storyline on the new Jurassic Park, for those that care, I know it's not Christine, is that they have started the park again, and it's up and running and everything's safe now and whatever else.
Okay, are they idiots?
No, but I thought about this because at first I was like, really? That wouldn't
History
happen. They would
repeats
destroy all
itself.
it. But then I was like, but if you created a dinosaur,
Like a
It
fluffy, nice dinosaur?
it would be hard to not want to create a dinosaur, honestly. I would have a hard time.
Well, yeah, but seeing as how well the first park went,
Yeah. Well, and that's
And
of
they
course
thought it
what's going to
was
happen
safe.
again, because there's going to be some
See?
other dinosaur that they're going to introduce that's going to be horrifying, and it's not going to work out well. So, the scary dinosaurs. That's what
I won't be
that's what
seeing
we're in
that
for.
one.
And then Marvel has come out with a few young adult type books. One is called She-Hulk Diaries, and the other one is called Rogue Touch. And
I love Rogue. She was my favorite X-Men of all time.
Rogue is awesome. And so they're kind of, I think, sort of aimed at that fantasy romance-ish sort of.
But they're young adult though.
I think so.
I'd like to read the Rogue Touch one because I was always fascinated by her.
Yeah,
And I like the way she talked.
It would be really interesting to see what they do with that, being that it's.
Do you know when they're coming out?
They're already out.
Oh, okay.
So you can get them. They're on Amazon and probably at bookstores, which we don't have one of those up here. So.
We have nothing but Walmart up here. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So anyway, that should be interesting. And if you guys have read those, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear,
Yeah, because it's
Your
lame.
take
We
on
want
it.
to save our money.
Yeah, exactly. Also, wanted to let you guys know about a YouTuber called Freddie W. I don't remember if I've told you or not about him.
Mm-mm.
But he is one of my son's heroes. He loves Freddie W. And he's really, really a cool filmmaker. and he's really into video games. So a lot of his videos are alluding to video games. Like he'll make a video that's like a live action excuse me, like a live action video of a video game. You know what I mean? Like he'll act out something that, and it's like high quality. It's not like, oh, somebody made this in their basement.
It's not like
How
LARPing.
cute. No, no, it's super cool. And he also has a show, like an ongoing show called Video Game High School, I think is what it's called. And so I watched the first episode of that, and it was really cool. So, and I think the series is starting again soon.
How do you find time to watch the YouTube videos? I cannot. Like, you find so many cool people. Like, Tobuscus is one of the ones that...
I love Tobuscus
He's
so
hilarious, but I
much.
don't even know how you find that stuff. Because YouTube, you can get lost in YouTube.
Okay, well, the other thing that I've told you about every show, I think, for a while, is Conversations with My 2-Year-Old. There's more episodes. Go watch them. They are so funny.
Do yourself a favor.
The one where the guy has a conversation with his 2-year-old, but then he reenacts it with a full-grown man. Oh, it's so funny. I can't even handle it. Okay, I don't know. I think like part of it's my kids, because like my son is really into Freddie W, and that's how I found him. And
but how do they find it? That's what I want, because it's
well,
so
and
like
we're really careful
the YouTube
about
world is so expansive, and yeah,
and
you
it's
can get
scary when you have a kid who can't spell, looking up stuff on YouTube, because I'm like, what are you gonna
find
find?
some really.
But we're really careful about it, and they don't watch these things, and they're not allowed to use any computers things in a room that no other people are in.
That's
so
good.
There's always like other people, and he found Freddie W a long time ago. And Freddie W has just gotten better and better, and his videos have been more and more amazing. And he uses a lot of like CGI stuff and a lot of like
that's so cool.
Really cool like After Effects
Is it
stuff.
just him, or does he have people that he works with?
He has a lot of. His videos always have a lot of people in them, so he obviously has people that he works with. But it's really cool. Also, have you seen the new preview for Elysium?
I did. I did see it.
Wow.
It looks really good.
I know.
My husband is like, "What is this?" I'm like, "I don't know how to say it. I still can't say it, but it looks good."
I think it's Elysium, but after my snafu with the island thing, I'm not sure.
Well, you are from Oklahoma,
I know.
so.
There's that. Elysium, I think, is how you say it. Anyway, it comes out August 9th, and it looks amazing. If you have not seen the latest trailer for that,
it looks
look
very
it
good.
up.
Mm-hmm.
It's Matt Damon and Jodie Foster, and it's directed by the same guy that did District 9, which I loved as well. But it just looks amazing.
It looks very good.
Sci-fi, cool, thriller-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really awesome. And Ender's Game, of course,
I still haven't read that book.
Excited about, but it's November 1st, so I have a long
I'll have a while to read that then. I'm in the middle of a few other books, so.
Yeah, it's a ways. And then I wanted to tell you guys what I'm watching on Netflix now, because I figured it might be a good thing for some other people who have Netflix who are like, what can I watch on Netflix?
I know, because I don't know, do you ever get this where you get to the end of a series and then you're just like depressed for a week because you're like, what am I going to do? And then there's nothing that quite adds up. Like after I finished all of Doctor Who, I was like,
no.
There's nothing left.
I know. It's true. So now I'm going to tell you what I'm watching. When I have time on Netflix, what I'm watching, well, sometimes there's the occasional Supernatural. Mm-hmm. I cannot watch that one when my kids are anywhere near, because that doesn't get watched very much. Then Star Trek: The Next Generation I'm going through again. I do watch Star Trek the original as well. I'm kind of going back and forth between the two of those, and I forgot how much I loved Star Trek: The Next Generation. I like the classic one too, but I just hadn't watched it since it came out in whatever that was, like the 90s probably. And it's just good.
Just love it.
I just love it so much.
Do the other kids watch it with you?
Oh, they totally could.
Oh, they can.
But I'm not ever. Usually, I'm not. Although the episode I just watched was like they went to this planet where it was like everybody wanted to love everybody. Let's play at love, and they were wearing the really skimpy outfits, and I was like, I'm glad my kids aren't watching this one with me. That's
nice.
Not okay. But anyway, it's a really good show, and it's really fun. And Will Wheaton's in it, so that's also fun. And then I'm watching Battlestar Galactica, which...
Haven't you already seen all those? Are you rewatching them, or...?
No, I watched like half the series and then didn't finish it because I think we moved in the middle of me watching it, and that's very distracting in your life, for the record. And so I'm watching them, and it's really funny because I'm teaching my kids this dyslexic what do you call it?
Curriculum,
Thank you. And we have to do a lot of, like, they read a lot of nonsense words because it helps, because then they can't guess it because it's a word that's not really a word. And one of the words this morning when I was teaching them was frack. I was like,
you're like, we're teaching them fake swear words.
I was so excited about it. And then I was like, they don't even get it anyway because they don't watch that show, obviously.
But that's okay, because when you're in the middle of that kind of stuff, a little bit of adult humor is always nice.
Yes. So I was like, frack, spell frack for me. Anyway, and then they have Caprica on there, which I have not watched yet, but it is on Netflix.
Well,
and that's like the prequel.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that we talked about on our shows before their time, that got canceled before their time.
Yeah, so
that was one of the
I am anxious. I haven't watched that one yet. So I'm in the middle of Battlestar Galactica, which is fantastic. And actually, my husband got sucked in, which I was like,
You're like, oh my god, another sci-fi thing with my husband.
Yes. So because I was watching it one night and he came in and I was explaining, I was like, so now Cylons look like people and like anybody could be a Cylon. And he's like, oh, okay. So I think I got him sucked in, which is great. Okay, on to bigger and better things like Monty Python now. So, what was your first Monty Python experience? Do you remember?
The Holy Grail.
Yeah, I think that was mine.
That was my first, and we watched that movie so much.
Many times.
Oh my word! And I like what the best part is the credits at the beginning are hilarious. And you know what I learned?
If you actually read them.
Right, and you know what I actually learned about the credits is that by the time they finished filming the movie, they ran out of money. And so they just kind of threw the credits together because they had no money. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome because that's the funniest part of the whole movie. Like, if you have to read the credits, like if you fast forward it through every single time, you're missing out.
Yeah, you should.
Like, you need to read them because they're so random, and make sure you read everything.
Yeah, they're very funny.
Yes,
for sure. Okay, so that was probably my introduction as well. Yeah. But so Monty Python started. I guess Terry Jones and Michael Palin met at Oxford. And Graham Chapman and John Cleese and Eric Idle all went to Cambridge.
So these guys are not idiots.
They're kind of smart guys. And I guess some of them performed together in some sort of troupe. And anyway, and they met Terry Gilliam in New York. And then they developed. And then it started with Monty Python's Flying Circus, the show, with the little short sketches and stuff.
I think they have that on Netflix, too, speaking of stuff to watch on Netflix.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of those.
And I find, for me personally, the Flying Circus is definitely hit or miss. It's like it's like Saturday Night Live.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it's just like Saturday Night Live because sometimes they hit on something that's like the dead parrot thing.
Yes.
He's not dead.
Oh yeah.
He was a live parrot, and now he's a dead parrot.
Yeah, when he's banging him.
Yeah, and then the lumberjack thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I mean, like, there's several. I think all of these that I wrote down are from the Flying Circus, but where I saw a lot of them because I didn't watch that much of the Flying Circus, but I watched Live at the Hollywood Bowl, which has a lot of those sketches in it. But we have the parrot one. We have the Argument Clinic.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, it's so brilliant. The guy goes in to have an argument and he pays for it, and then he says, "Well, you haven't paid," and he's like, "Yes, I have." "No, you haven't." And then he's like, and then they go back and forth for a long time. And he says, "Well, that's just contradiction." "No, it isn't." "Yes, it is. You just contradicted me." "No, I didn't." Anyway, it's really, really funny.
I like the Ministry of Silly Walks.
Ministry of Silly Walks.
That's a good one.
Amazing. John Cleese is like his physical comedy and
he just has great timing. I mean, even now, like in the movies he's been in, he's just great. I like that guy.
He is, and what's really funny is we went to a library one time, and rented an audio book because I found it, and it was the Screw Tape Letters, which is a classic C.S. Lewis, which I've read before.
Was it read by John Cleese?
It was read by John Cleese. And
that's cool.
It completely changed the whole book for me. Because
did it make it funny?
It made it funny, and it made it come to life, like in a way where I was like, oh, I can understand what he's, like the tone of voice that he would, it was just,
yeah.
Oh, he's genius. Also, the Silly Olympics. Have you seen this skit?
I think I have.
It's like the 100-meter dash for people with absolutely no sense of direction. And then they shoot the gun and they all go in different directions.
I did see that one.
And this swimming contest for non-swimmers. So they all dive into the pool and they just sink to the bottom. It's really funny. We'll come back to them when we're fishing out the corpses. And then
the
Lumberjack.
Of course.
And then did you ever see Nudge, Nudge, Wink, Wink? Nudge, Nudge, Wink, Wink.
I've
know what I mean? Know what I mean?
I probably have. It's just been so long since I've seen that stuff.
Yeah.
Like the one I've watched most recently is the Holy Grail one because, I mean, hello.
It's so funny, yeah.
Did you know, speaking of that movie, so when they're at the castle and the Frenchman is up there and he says, I fart in your general direction. Well, first of all, it's
Gotta be
farting.
your favorite
And second
part.
of all, so when AOL Instant Messenger was popular and like somebody would, IM you and it would pop up and it would, make a noise and you could change all the noises.
Okay.
So the noise when the Wanda popped up was, I fart in your general direction. Yeah.
That's pretty great.
Isn't that really wonderful?
Yeah. Too bad we don't have AOL. Oh, wait, just kidding.
Well, we have it on chatting on Facebook, but you can't change the noises because that just made me really, really happy every time somebody...
Yeah. Who did it? What did I... Oh, one of our friends on... This is kind of not in the same vein, but sort of. One of our friends on Facebook posted that your TomTom, you can get the little arrow to look like the Serenity.
I saw that. I wish I had one.
Is cool.
I think Nathan Fillion got him to do that.
Must have. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'd kind of like to...
So we started with Monty Python Flying Circus Show. That's what they started with, which is like a sketch show like SNL.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really, really funny a lot of the time. And then sometimes I'm just I don't get it.
SNL, same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't watched that show in a long time because it was just not funny.
And then apparently they did a film, which agreed. Mm-hmm. Apparently they did a film called And Now for Something Completely Different.
I've heard of it.
And it's I think it's like a compilation of their sketches, their funnier sketches, but I've never seen that one.
Well, they'd have John Cleese on a desk.
Let us know.
Well, they'd have John Cleese on a desk, like in the middle of something random. Like, I think he was in a stream once, and he would sit there and he'd take us and he'd go, and now for something completely different. And
I know, but did they do
on.
that in the Flying Circus?
I don't know if they did or not, but I remember seeing that.
I thought they did. And then 1974, Monty Python and the Holy Grail came out. And that is just pure genius. Mm-hmm. And, I've heard people, when I was reading about this, I have heard that people compared what they did for comedy as like what the Beatles did for music, which I would say is a fair comparison.
No, that's a totally fair comparison.
But yeah, the
it was just the humor was just so different that I think it took people by surprise. They're like, what? Like, we're throwing cows over the...
Yes.
And I actually read somewhere they were actually real corpses, and it was so stinky and gross. But, like, the special effects guys were so excited about it. I'm like, that's disgusting.
Yeah, it is pretty gross.
I read that somewhere. I don't remember where I read it.
And then, let's see. Oh, the holy hand grenade scene. I love...
And the bunny, the best part is the bunny, because the bunny is this evil thing, and you'd think like the scary thing hidden in the cave would be a dragon or something crazy. Like, no, it's a bunny, like a blood-sucking bunny. My brother, he bought I think he did. He bought Monty Python, or he was looking for Monty Python bunny slippers, and they have them. You can get the evil bunny Monty Python slippers.
Just get some bunny slippers and put some red. Right there.
Yeah. And then the night. It's only a flesh wound.
Yes, but I like the hand grenade scene where he says, that with it thou mayest blow thine enemies to tiny bits in thy mercy. So good. And the bring out your dead scene.
Oh, of course.
So funny.
Bring out your dead, but I'm not dead yet.
Shh, you'll be dead in a minute. I'd like to go for a walk. And then Live at the Hollywood Bowl, 1982. Have you seen this one?
I didn't see that one.
I love this one. It's got some really, really funny bits in it. Obviously, most of these are not child appropriate.
No, well, the kids probably wouldn't get most of the stuff.
Yeah, but there's some sketchy stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't. Well, not so much Holy Grail. Holy Grail has like one scene that's
when he's with all the girls.
Yes.
Yeah.
When Sir Galahad the Pure. The girls. But Live at the Hollywood Bowl is obviously live at the Hollywood Bowl. So it's like them doing their sketches on the stage.
I saw some of that. I need to go and rewatch all of this
But then
stuff.
there's also like, I think they show some clips as well. And it is really, really funny. But then one I skipped, Life of Brian. Have you seen this one?
I'm pretty sure I have. Like I said, it's been years since I've seen it, so I'm fairly certain.
This is one. I think that a lot.
I always
of
thought it was
Christians
Life of Brain. That's what I always thought it was as a kid, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. But
well, okay, so I think a lot of Christians got mad about this movie when it first came out because they said it was blasphemous and stuff. But what it really is hilarious. And
what do Christians not get mad at though?
Good point.
I'm just saying.
So anyway, it was really, it's so funny. Like they have, if you are familiar at all, I mean, it's basically this guy, Brian, who's born sort of next to Jesus at the same time. And like at the very beginning of the movie, like the three wise men come into his his little stable that he's being born into instead of Jesus's. And then they realize that.
Whoops, wrong one.
Yeah. Anyway, it's quite funny.
I need to watch that one.
And
Is that one on Netflix? I wonder.
I doubt it, but I own it, so you could borrow it.
Oh, good, I
from me.
will.
And then they have like the whole Beatitudes scene, which is like Jesus saying, "Blessed are the peacemakers, blessed." And then there's a guy like at the back of the crowd that can't really hear, and he's like, "I think he said, blessed are the cheesemakers." And then there's a really smart guy in front of him. He's like, "I think he means all manufacturers of dairy products." It's pretty awesome. There's like this whole greatness. In
I just
that
like,
movie.
you know what? I just like listening to British people be funny.
I know.
Like they have a way. I was just discussing this with my aunt and how I love reading British, it doesn't matter. I love reading British humor, British books, because they have a way with the English language that is phenomenal, and they can just twist the most simple words to be like cheesemaker. That's not funny, but when a British person says it, it's hilarious. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was eating breakfast at this restaurant the other day, and there was a British person, like a British family, sitting there, and I was waiting for the bathroom, and I'm just like, ooh, just keep talking. Yeah, I wish I was British. Or Scottish. I'll take either one.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want a
They
cool
both are
accent. I
pretty
just
great.
want Valley Girl, like awesome totally from California accent, because that's lame.
Yeah, I'm glad I got Oklahoma because that's really cool. So,
Dude, I got nothing. See, dude, there you go.
dude, I totally got nothing. The Life of Brian is one I love though, and so I would. Yeah, it's definitely up there. Like The Holy Grail and Life of Brian are probably my two favorites. And then The Meaning of Life. Have you seen this one?
I don't remember.
I'm sort of on the fence about The Meaning of Life, but it does have the, have you seen the one with the really, really, really obese guy who's at the restaurant? And he says, "I can't eat another bite." And then they bring him a mint and they're like, "It's wafer thin." And he eats it and explodes.
I feel like I'm somewhat lacking in this
So
department.
it's funny.
I just need to watch them.
Yeah, it's pretty
again.
Funny. Yeah, British comedy though, and I in the book thing that you were saying, I have Simon Pegg's autobiography, which I think is called Nerd Do Well, and it's just the way it's written is so enjoyable to read.
Right? That's why my favorite
saying.
author, her name is Sophie Kinsella, and she's the one who writes Confessions of a Shopaholic.
Okay.
And she's British, and just everything she says, I'm like, can you be any more awesome? And how, the comparisons they make, and
also Helen Fielding with Bridget Jones.
Yeah, I could not read Bridget Jones' diary. I could not read that.
Is it because it's the diary format?
I think because it's in the diary format, and I could not. I love the movie though. The movie was great. Yeah, I just love it, man. And then what's funny is when you read a book that an American wrote that's set in Britain, and they try to make it sound British, and you're like, oh, you're missing it. It's just, it just doesn't do them any good.
Okay, two other things we have. One is the CD of like all the songs.
Or you can just go on Spotify and type in Monty Python, and I'm sure you'll get a ton.
I'm talking like old school, back when we had CDs, because we bought it like
those
a long time ago.
things that you buy in the store.
So we have it's got tons. I can't even remember how many songs on it, but it's a lot. It's like all the Monty Python. It's called Monty Python Sings.
The most catchy song that Monty Python ever did is like the worst song.
Yes.
Sit on my face. Yes. I'm sure you know exactly where that one's going. Because if you don't listen to it with children around. Course, but go look that one up because the tune is so catchy. I'm like, yay! And then I actually listen to the words. I'm like, oh,
and like classics like Always Look on the Bright Side of Life, which I was telling Anna the other day because she was like, "Where's this song?" I mean, she knew it was Monty Python, my oldest daughter, and she's like, "But where is this song?" Because I haven't let her watch Life of Brian yet, so she was asking me where it was from, like what scene does it take place in, and I was like, "Well, they're all on crosses, being crucified." And that's when he sings that song. Always look on. Yeah, it's pretty great, and they're all.
It's amazing how inappropriate everything they do is, but it's so hilarious. Oh, it's so great.
It's so funny. I love it. And then it's got the Lumberjacks song and Spam. Isn't there a Spam song?
Probably.
Feels like. And then one of my husband's favorite, Every Sperm is Sacred. It's about the it's from a sketch where there's like this Catholic family who has like 5 billion children, and
the
so
Chinese food song.
I like Chinese. Yes.
Yeah.
And then
in other words, you just need
Eric
to
the
go look it all
Happy.
up because it's all like inappropriately funny. So
If you need some adult humor time.
yeah.
And then the other thing we have is Monty Python Flux, which
Yeah, we've talked about Flux on this show a few times
it
before.
is a card game that actually Christine introduced me to. I think we played Zombie Flux the first time. And so we now have Zombie Flux and Monty Python Flux, but there's also like Pirate Flux and Space Flux.
Space Flux, yeah, there's all kinds.
It's FLUXX, and you can find it on Amazon and stuff. But so Monty Python Flux has like it's a
Talking
weird
in English
game
accent, yeah.
where you like the rules change all the time and the goals change all the time. But some of the rules that can come up are like
Talking a British accent
yes, you have to talk in a British accent the
until
entire
your
time.
next turn. Yeah.
And the villains are like the two-headed guy and like
the knights who say "ni."
the knights who say "ni" and the rabbit and the
It's hard to explain the game. You actually just have to see it. Like the learning curve can be kind of steep, but once you get it, it's
so
really,
much
really fun.
My kids play it with me, so I mean my older kids. So.
My husband doesn't. Like he's played it so many times. He's like, I don't know what. I'm like, I'm not playing this with you anymore.
It's difficult, I think, for people who like have a certain this is the goal of this game, like who are used to that.
But the goal changes.
But the goal, like you have to keep paying attention because the goal is constantly changing, and you have to pay attention to what your cards are.
Yeah,
it's super fun.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah.
I really like it a lot. So
I recommend it. So, what's your favorite Monty Python thing?
My favorite? I'm gonna have to go with the Lumberjack song. Because the Lumberjack song just makes me happy as far as music goes. But I really like the Holy Grail. I mean, that's a classic.
Yes.
We sound like movie people. That's a classic.
It's a classic.
No,
Classic pick.
But the Lumberjack song, only because, I was a Lumberjack university, so.
She was Lumberjack, and she's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I asked that question, but I'm not sure I can answer it because I have so much love for all of their everything. But I think the Holy Grail is probably one of my favorites.
Oh, let's not forget the Broadway show. What's the Monty Python? What is that?
I didn't wear my shirt. I have a
That would have been Spam-A-Lot
shirt.
My mom sent me the soundtrack. Good Lord.
Dude.
It's hilarious.
I went and saw that live, and I hurt myself laughing. I mean, it's got a lot of things from the Holy Grail and stuff that you've already seen, kind of, but it's different. It's a little different
to it, don't they?
And it's just so funny. Oh my word, it's so funny. Yeah, I mean, I would highly recommend that show if you ever,
if you're a Monty Python
fan. Or yeah, I mean, like if you ever have an opportunity to go see it, you definitely should because it is. It was a great evening for me because I just laughed myself into almost a coma. It was so funny.
Do you want to know a fun fact?
Yes.
About Monty Python? So the Holy Grail and, God comes from the clouds and he starts talking. That was a cricket player, a famous cricket player from England.
Oh, really? The voice?
No, the picture.
The picture?
It's a famous cricket player. Yeah. So if you were curious.
That's who plays God.
God's
the face of God.
She said God's a cricket player, y'all. So you better start taking up cricket. Get on his good side.
Dude, if you can understand cricket, well done. It is complicated. We got a tea towel from England one time that had the rules list. It was written out in a humorous way is what it was supposed to. It's it said cricket is very easy to understand, and then it explained it in a super super complicated way. And yeah.
You have a cricket bat. You should know how to play. Are you a poser?
Yes, I'm totally a poser. I'm married to a Brit, and that's about it. But the other day, John came into our room and was laughing, and I was like, "What are you laughing about?" And he's like, "Oh, there's just a bloody cricket bat in our bedroom, and then there's a bloody shirt hanging in your closet. I don't know. It's just a little funny to me." And I was like, "Yeah, well."
You're like, that's what happens when you marry me.
Yeah, but anyway, it is like a weird game though because it can go on for days.
Really?
Yes. I didn't know that either. But then I was like, oh.
That sounds like the worst sport ever.
It's like Quidditch. In the Harry Potter books, they say that the game can go on
sounds
for days.
terrible.
Yeah. So, anyway. But it's really popular in, a lot of other countries.
Smile and nod.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's fun to watch, though. For, 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay, so tell us what you love about Monty Python, and if we missed one of your favorites, you're like, God, they're idiots. Why didn't they talk about this? Tell us because I
can't believe we almost missed the play. Well done.
I know. Thanks. Yeah. So let us know what you like, and all that kind of stuff, because we can always use a lot more fun. Send us YouTube videos and all that stuff. So,
Yes, we'd love to hear what you think. And thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.